Okay, so far, we have been working to understand the events in Poe's The Telltale Heart. Now we are going to move from recalling the facts and details to now using those facts to determine if the narrator is considered reliable or not. We're also going to look at how an unreliable narrator impacts the understanding of a story from the reader's perspective, and looking at what tools an author uses to create that reliable or unreliable narrator. To review, we created a list last class of what a reliable and unreliable narrator would look like in a text. We decided that a reliable narrator is someone that is trustworthy, that produces facts about an event, not opinions about what happened. The information being presented is more straightforward, it is not biased, and information is not necessarily left out. Whereas an unreliable narrator is someone whose trustworthiness is questionable. The narrator's perspective is given rather than the concrete events that have happened. Information may be tainted or biased because information may be omitted or skewed to fit the narrator's story. We must now take this information and apply it to the narrator in The Telltale Heart. So, in order for us to get started, let's talk as a class about some of these questions. What do we know about the narrator in The Telltale Heart? Is he or she considered reliable? How does the narrator's perspective shape the way we see the text? What details do we understand or hear that we wouldn't understand if another character were in charge of telling the story? How does this impact us as a reader? How does the author's language in the story develop the narrator as a character? What is the effect on you as the reader? Now, in order to understand this paragraph, in order to understand this question, let's first look at the repetition in paragraph 3. Please reread paragraph 3 now. Now look at the author's language in paragraph 1 through 3 versus the paragraphs in paragraphs 17 and 18. I want you to focus on the length of the sentences, the use of punctuation, particularly dash marks, and the author's word choice, including repetition of certain words. For you to understand, a dash mark is used to indicate a pause or a break of an idea or a thought, which is considered less powerful than a period because a period indicates the end of a thought. In order to look forward into our lesson, you must first understand these two concepts. Repetition, which is when we draw our attention to repeated words and emphasized ideas. So an author wouldn't reuse certain words if it didn't have a purpose or a point. Repetition also helps build the mood of a story, and it contributes to a narrator's uncertainty or unreliability. So using repetition in a story helps you build the case that a narrator is unreliable because it makes you question the narrator's sanity. If they have to keep repeating things, thinking that you don't understand or that you didn't realize what they were trying to say. Secondly, we need to understand sentence structure and its impact on our understanding of a story. Longer sentences tend to emphasize a slow approach that builds suspense or mood. In this case, the longer sentences in the story help build the methodical approach that our narrator is going to kill the man. Shorter sentences, on the other hand, produce a sense of panic and uncertainty. It's not like anything is thought out. It's just being spit out without thought. So this also creates uncertainty in our text. When you look at the beginning and the end of the story, let's focus on these questions. Now that we've discussed all of this as a class, you need to stop and complete the worksheet on your own.